just you and me, listen up. I'm going to tell you something you already know, and it's going to be our little secret. You ready? Nobody cares about people's opinions. Welcome, everyone, back to, of course, another episode of the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKella, the host of the show, and, of course, this is the place to be for productivity, for high performers, possibly business owners, solopreneurs, people who are really looking for productivity through executing that perfect day. So when you go to sleep at night, you know that your life is really in the right direction. You're hitting all the boxes, you're, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's of where you want your life to go. Now, today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about a couple of things, but it's going to be revolved around other people's opinions about what it is you choose to do with your life. So if you're listening to the show and you're implementing any part of ritual design, or if you are doing any type of routines throughout your day, even for instance, like a morning routine, usually people start there. And some people may have an opinion about that. They may feel like that's, a little over the top. They may think, well, that's nice for you, but I can't do that because of X, Y, Z. They may be jealous of you because they really want to do something like that. It can vary about, what people think about what you're doing. And I guess, this is stemming from some context of my life that it's interesting. Let's take a 30,000 foot view first. If you look at Facebook and you look at everybody on that platform, I feel like everybody who contributes to a post, other than, say, this is something that they're creating necessarily. And even then, it's their opinion, it's their subjective, opinion of something they want to share. Either way, Facebook is one of these places where everybody feels as if their words and their opinions matter to the point where somebody is really going to listen to them. And I know it sounds like maybe silly, but like, for instance, like the last year in particular, it's been insane. It's been crazy. Everybody feels like that their opinion on whatever the subject is, and we're going to come back to obviously what we're talking about today in productivity and routine building, but everybody just feels like their opinion, it really matters, or maybe they're trying to make other people see their side and change their side of their. If you're listening to the show, let's just all agree, just you and me. If you're in the car or if you are jogging on the treadmill or whatever it is, just you and me, listen up. I'm going to tell you something you already know, and it's going to be our little secret. You ready? Nobody cares about people's opinions. Nobody cares about what you or I think. If you are listening to this show, right, it means that you agree with 99% of the things I'm saying, right? Or you're trying to learn from the things that I'm teaching, or you're trying to possibly get motivated. There's definitely some motivation here, I think. But either way, we're probably on the same side, right? I am not doing this podcast. I am not doing this show to try and make somebody, for instance, a friend of mine I was talking to last week, make him start a morning routine. That's not my job. If he believes that he doesn't have time or that he can't for whatever reason, I'm not saying that you can. I mean, we can have a conversation around it and kind of dive deep into like what really is the reason why you can't, and maybe it's not, maybe it is, whatever it is. But I'm not saying you're wrong. You just said that. I'm not trying to change your opinion. So let's kind of come. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant here. Maybe today is just a rant for me, so bear with me. But I think there is some importance here, and we'll get to some tactics revolved around people and their good old opinions. Now, let's come back to why this matters to you. If you are implementing any of the strategies that I talk about on this show, if you're implementing any of the strategies that other personal development type of people speak about on the internet, there are probably going to be 9 out of every 10 people that you know are going to look at you in unfortunately a negative light. Because most of the time, if you're implementing any real, solid personal development type of things, that is the minority. People don't know really how to approach that. They're confused. It's not normal. It's not normal because I'll tell you why. It goes against human nature. Human nature, the way our primal brain from literally 200,000 years ago, right? The way this brain works is, and there's literally a part of it down like by our spinal cord, left, right? That whole fight or flight thing, like that is there to do a couple of things. One, eat food whenever you see it, because you got to survive and you don't know when you're going to get food again. Run away from scary things so you can, to stay alive and keep the species going, procreate. That's it. That's really the 3 things that are happening. So that being our primitive brain, when people hear that you're waking up earlier to get a workout in, or you're waking up, earlier to meditate, right? And they're not really associated with this world, they're going to have an opinion, and they're probably going to have a negative one. So let's talk about the negatives first. People are going to think that maybe you're lost. It's so funny when you actually usually find yourself and you go through some type of transformation. Many people have this suspicion that you're lost and you don't know where to go, and you don't know what career path to take or what relationship really is the right one or whatever it is. And you're kind of like having this midlife crisis or quarter life crisis or whatever it is, right? So you're doing all these like things to improve your old, like it's wild when really it's like that is the foundation of what all this is about. It's life, right? We all go around once. So either way, they're going to think that you're lost. They're also maybe going to think that you are, you're kind of full of yourself. How dare you work on yourself? Like, how dare you make me look bad, right? And there may not even be going that deep, but that's where it's coming from, because a negative opinion about you bettering yourself comes from a place of insecurity. And that's where a lot of this comes from is insecurity about themselves. So that's really two of the major ones. Like they may be, like I said, they may be somewhat angry with you. They may, or whatever it is. They may be, what did I say the first thing? They may be confused or whatever it is. So there is definitely some negative opinions. Now, there also may be some positive opinions. People may look at you and say, "Wow, like that's incredible. Like look at her go. Like she's losing weight. She's reading all these like really great books by great people. She started taking, I don't know, Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something like that. That's wow, look at her go." And if that's it, that's the only opinion or thought that they have, that's fantastic. Usually, again, it's kind of coupled with themselves, because again, the ego is a real thing. It's not a bad thing. We all have the ego. When the ego is unchecked, then you're egotistical. But they may be thinking, wow, look at her go. That's awesome. Look at him go. They're doing so great. I can never really do that. I don't know. I don't have it in me to do that. I don't really have it in me to, to start taking that class or start that business, whatever it is. And then really creeps in possibly some jealousy, right? Which kind of leads right back to the negative side of things. So basically, a couple of things that you can do to mitigate this. One, I would not recommend being, first of all, I would recommend, number one, being humble. Humility is one of the best things that I have worked on over the last quite a few years of my life, because I needed it, right? I could be humble when the time was right, but if there was any other forces that like I needed to like show off, or my masculinity was at stake or whatever, being humble was not in the cards. So I really needed to make that part of me, and that's what I do. That's why I do a gratitude practice every single day, because I that's one of the ways I can be humble, because I can be grateful. Now, so humility is great, but don't be too humble that you put yourself down. Be proud of what you're doing. I mean, if you're waking up an hour and change earlier, if you wake up 1 minute earlier than you have to invest in yourself, good for you, right? If you are making sure that every day when you get home from work, you're doing, X, Y, Z to, because those are the important things to you, and your family starts seeing it and things like, be proud of that and tell people, I've implemented this system. It's ritual design. I have all these like daily rituals and routines that I do, and I'm really happy with it. I'm working on it. I'm not perfect, but it's really helped me along. I'm losing some weight. Whatever it is, right? Be proud of that. Again, coupled with humility. I think that's the first area that we can approach the opinions of others when they have that conversation, and they say, oh, well, whatever it is. I think secondly, it's an internal process that you have to have with yourself. The biggest thing, again, we come right back to what we were saying before. No one cares about your opinions. Like, it's just true. So when people give you their unsolicited opinion about whatever it is, let alone, what you're doing, like, that's that there's something's up with them, right? We talked about it. It could be a jealousy, it could be an anger, it could be confusion, it could be whatever it is. You have to recognize that, and you have to take these words that come at you as just face value. They're just words, and they should mean nothing to you. You can take the compliment, or you can take the criticism. I rarely do either, because I'm doing the things that work for me. I'm doing the things that I feel good after I do them, and I don't do the things that I don't find too much value from. And that's it. That's it. I mean, I haven't, after having the baby a couple months ago, I haven't read. Reading has fallen off of my ritual design, and I used to read like 10, 15 minutes every day. And that's the first thing to go, because it doesn't provide as much value as certain other things do. Working out, I haven't really missed a day. That's one of my most important things. That's part of this. Meditating is something that has fallen off, but not entirely. It's my next kind of element of my ritual design that I have to kind of get serious about and tweak with the baby. Obviously, again, if you haven't listened to the Baby Chronicles, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I think episode 48, I believe. All right, so let's kind of wrap up today. Again, it's a tricky thing when we are going down a road that most people don't ever travel in their lives. A lot of people look at the human beings out there that are working on themselves with less than positive emotions and opinions, because again, it's understandable. You have to have empathy for them, actually, because they're not in a place that they need to work on themselves, which is actually kind of sometimes good, right? They are or in a place where they need it, but they don't realize they even need it. They haven't hit this transformational point yet where there's this whole accountability thing that comes in, right? But again, I think the biggest thing that you have to recognize is that it's you have to have empathy for them, because wherever it's coming from, it's there's something broken inside. You have to take the words at face value, and you have to approach the explanation with humility and this double-edged sword of confidence and happiness that you're taking care of yourself, and you're doing these routines that help you along in your life and make you a better version of you. And that's what this whole thing is. We want to become a better version of ourselves in a way that is sustainable. Because why not? Why not? That's it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope this wasn't super cryptic. I'm not really going into the explanation of why this episode came about. It's ridiculous. And my willpower was tested, but it was a good catalyst for me to look at the opinions that people have of what we do together, not just of a random outside topic, right? Let's talk about opinions around ritual design, productivity, personal development, making, like I said, moving the needle for you and your life. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you are able to take a couple things away from this next time somebody comes at you with their opinion. Please, if you like this episode, share it with somebody that would benefit from it. And of course, leave a review for the podcast. That would be so helpful. I'd really appreciate that. And then obviously, if you're watching, you can subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified of the next episode. So thank you so much once again, and I will see you next week on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast.